Whilst Jesus was in Bethany, in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as he was reclining at the table. When the disciples saw this, they were indignant. "Why this waste?" they asked. "This perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor." Aware of this, Jesus said to them, "Why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. When she poured this perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. Truly, I tell you, wherever this gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Now, there are so many amazing themes in this story that we could be exploring. I guess everyone must have wondered at the cost of that perfume, but in John's account, it is Judas who objects. So I suppose we could be exploring his motives, but we won't. Again, an account of a woman anointing Jesus with oil or perfume can be found in other Gospels. So we could analyze these, but we won't. We could perhaps look at Jesus' impending death and this symbolic act of being anointed for burial, but we won't. Instead, let us for a minute think about Mary and Jesus and this amazing smelling, precious perfumed oil. Let us not look much at the past events that have led up to this one, or the future events threatening at the door. No, rather, let us think just for one moment about what's going on between Mary and Jesus. Nard was a rare and precious spice, imported from the northern parts of India and transported to the west by caravan. It smells like gladiolis. The amount Mary uses on Jesus is huge and lavish and expensive, the equivalent of an entire year's salary. Alabaster jars of costly perfume were so precious that people would just leave them somewhere to be admired rather than actually use them like we would perfume today. So imagine, if you will, that night. Imagine that it is just after tea. People are relaxed and reclining around the table, and then Mary performs this elaborate act. If we were to bring together the different accounts, then that would mean that Mary would not only be covering Jesus' feet, but also his head with oil, and it would have dripped down onto his clothes. The entire house filled with this fragrant, expensive perfume. Mary's act is one of extravagant abandonment. She might hope that others around the dinner table would understand, but quite frankly, I don't think that she cares whether they do or not. All she wants is to find a way to best express the love that she has for her king and to serve him the best way she possibly can, regardless of the tuts of others. And so Mary shows us how to be true disciples of Christ. Discipleship defined by complete devotion, utter abandonment, and service to God. She shows us that when we love the Lord, we give up everything and we do whatever it takes, regardless of what others might think of us, to serve him with our whole hearts. Here, in conclusion, a challenge for us written by Stella Bristow. It's called Wasteful Loving. We are called to be risk takers, not for us the safety and security of the acceptable, the tried and tested, not for us the careful, measured dripping of loving and compassion, but a reckless spilling of empathy, breaking our complacency and inspiring us to give our all. We will know that this we must risk, to spill our love wastefully, freeing it to cascade into the hidden crevices of lost hope and despair, finding its own level to work its healing balm. It will be costly, and sometimes our hearts will be broken, our dreams will be smashed, and people will question our sense of direction, challenge our motives, and test our confidence in things that cannot be quantified. The words of censor will be there. What a waste! What a waste of time and resources, money and energy. They will call us impetuous, emotional, silly, and over extravagant, and tell us that there are more deserving causes, more important things to get fired up about. But we are called to be risk takers for today and for the future. Not always comfortable, but then why should we expect to be? We will have done what we could, risk for the sake of love, and the fragrance of the action will never be lost, even if in the eyes of the world it has been wasted.